Just finished watching the Ollie Bears game in Woodstock. He's got another one at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to go get my hair cut in between both of them. Not because I have to, but because the guy usually does my hair here is here. Secondly, I have the sale next week and racing next week, and I won't have a chance to maybe even get it done before I come back home, so figured I'd get it done. So I took Addie Bear. Say hi. I took Addie Bear with me. We're going back up to Guelph real quick. So Woodstock is where Ollie was playing today. Woodstock to Guelph is about 40 minutes. So Addie and I headed back to Guelph, made my haircut, and then back to see Ollie's 5 o'clock game. Pretty pumped about that, man. It's quite the moment. He got the last out of the game, caught the ball. It's good for him. And got 3, maybe 4 hits, RBIs, scored every time, I think. He was really good today. So I was pretty happy. No, I guess it's a different kind of happiness. You can't really replicate watching your son play sports. So it's pretty exciting. This was the first day I got to watch Ollie ever play baseball. He only played 2 games before this because we were in Ohio, and although we played pickup ball and played around, he's never been on a team with a uniform on and his teammates around him. So it was pretty exciting to watch that, and I was pretty happy. Now, on to some business. I left my other phone at home, and I never thought about it until now, so I got to write out all the stables by hand, like 80 horses or something, whatever it is. Now, the 2-year-old list, every time I do this 2-year-old list, somebody messages me to say, hey, you missed somebody. I can't for the life of me see who it is. I don't know who the hell it is. So if you're missing a horse on here, it's because I made an error. I'm going to have to fix that at some point. But for now, we're going to run through them. This time of year, as I said in the last video or the time before that, it's important to know what your 2-year-old is up to, what our plans and hopes are. So for a horse like Almost There Boss, we had the OCDs removed. Boss is going to stay in the stall for another 3 weeks probably, and then we're going to begin probably turning him out in the field. Actually, maybe a little more. So he had that faint line in his knee. He might be in the stall for 4 or 5 weeks. Either way, he'll get a good 6-8 weeks in the field when this is all done, when we're all done rehabbing him. So Almost There Boss. What's wrong? No, you finish. Why don't you finish that one? Don't yell. Give it to me. I don't want it. I don't want it. So Almost There Boss is off for a bit. We got those OCDs out. Everything went great. And the surgeon noted that there was 0 damage of any kind done to the joint, cartilage or otherwise. Perfectly clean execution, as they say. Amor Diener is out in the field now. He'll stay out till December 1st. We'll bring him back in. You know, people peppering me questions all week. You know, what do you think he'd be like as a 3-year-old? You guys know I can't answer that. There's no way for me to know. You know, we just hope that there's progression. In some horses, there's not. You know that too, or you wouldn't ask. Really what you're asking is, do you think this horse will be better at 3? And I don't really know how to answer that. I can't intelligently and quite honestly answer that with any sort of confidence. He has all the tools to be a better horse. He's bigger, stronger now. He's growing. At the end of the year, he was really tall. I was surprised when I saw him, when I trained him at Northfield Park, how much bigger and lankier he was. Before, he just seemed short and kind of compact, and now he's turned into a totally different horse. So in that regard, I would imagine he will become a much better 3-year-old. Arches Rainbow will be coming in end of this month. You guys know how I feel about Arches Rainbow. Really like this filly. Really interested to see what she's going to do as a 3-year-old. Better Be Sawyer will also be coming in at the end of the month. We'll be paying her into some of those later in the fall series. Blue Bayou Dio has Lexington a week from Monday, and then straight down to New Jersey. She'll have the second leg of the New Jersey Development Fund stake, unless we look at the series and say, oh man, that's way tougher than we thought it was, in which case we'll just turn her out. But I don't think historically it's been a pretty watered down field. And then Baumhugger, great questions from Baumhugger's race. Is she tired? Number one question. I asked that to myself also. I'm coming off the track and I have to ask myself, what you just saw, is that exhaustion? I don't think physically now exhaustion, but has the year taken its toll? Is she tired? Has she had enough? Very fair questions, all of them. As I said, none of which I wasn't asking myself. To be fair to her, I don't think I can answer that. I talked to Mark Beckwith today. He said elevated white count came back in the blood and dehydration. It's not really that surprising. She did ship to Yonkers and to back 2.5 hours to take her blood today. She wouldn't have gone home until 10:30 last night to Yonkers or to Saratoga. Is that more to play than the white count and the dehydration? I don't know. So I'll leave that. And Mark answered it perfectly. He said, "Listen, Anthony, we have 9 days, but she literally just ate and fell asleep right in front of us." I see you. You go, CBs. She's a good girl. So Mark said, "Listen, we have 9 days before we even have to enter. So why don't you let me answer that when I feel comfortable answering it?" It was a great answer. 100% what I wanted to hear. Absolutely perfect. So bomb hugger right now. There's no definitive answer of what we are going to do. Theoretically, we can turn her out, or there's only two options. We turn her out right now, which we can do. We can do. And if it was just sheer, she was tired last night, then yeah, I think she should go out. But if the white count, and because here's my argument to that, she had like 6 starts. Yes, they've been all over New York, but we've raced horses all over Ohio many more times. 1, 2, skip a few. It feels like we've raced her 25 times. She's raced like 9, 10 times, and she's got 3, 4 more races in her. So the difference is that every time Bomb Hugger went to the track, it was right to the wall. Right, she was wide open every time. So there's no, hey, I just want to fair race in 2.8. She doesn't get any of that. So I'm going to let her answer that question for all of us moving forward. Century Invictus, I trained him this morning in 2.8. He was awesome. Very happy with Century Invictus, how he looks, what he's become, and very optimistic about how his future looks for sure. Confederate Cruiser, again, I think what you see is what you get. It's going to be a lot of the same next year. Nice Buckeye Colt. Maybe. I think he can grow into be a nice Buckeye Colt, and definitely a player on the fair circuit. A lot of fun to be around for sure. Duke Dio, I think, will become a pretty decent 3-year-old. Really, I can't elaborate. That's very vague, isn't it? But I really can't elaborate anymore. He could be any kind of sophomore. I have no idea. Might be an overnight horse. He might be a stake horse. He might be a good horse. He's bred to be a good horse. I'm just going to let him tell me. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Isa 10, my hope, obviously, and you guys know this, was that we turned her out for an extended period of time, hoping that she broadened up in the shoulders and really bulked up. And that's exactly what I hope has happened. Now, a filly like her that brushes her knees, brushes her jacks, I think she's probably going to do a lot of galloping in the fall and into the winter. I think that's probably the best way to move forward with her. And you may not understand what I'm saying. What I mean is I'm going to train her on the gallop. The reason being, she's not going to hit her knees or her jacks on the gallop. So until she gets that strength in her shoulders through her midsection, over her rump, we're going to put it on probably with galloping. And that's what I would say for Isa 10 is coming. Garden State Dio, just want to see her grow up. I think she already proven she's fast. I still, to this date, oh no, I was going to say the fastest 2-year-old trotting filly on a half-mile track. Clearly that's false. 55-4 in Yonkers last night for the good horse of Melanders. Nevertheless, tons of speed. Really just got to let her grow up and her body mature, and that's exactly why she's in the field. Grace has the gold, hopefully the gold finals left. Very happy with the way Grace has looked, what she's done, what she's accomplished. Very impressed with this filly, and am hoping for good things for her in the future. Granite Hill, same type thing. Hopeful, optimistic. These are key words I'm going to use for some of these horses because I don't know. My hope is that Granite Hill comes back. His body's filled out. He's stronger. We can train him down in a manner where we're like, oh yeah, he's got some power now, this horse, because really all he was missing was some pop, some power. So the only way to allow him to do that was really just gamble, turn him out, hope that he puts some mass on, puts lots of fat on, and we can turn that into muscle. And that is the plan for Granite Hill. Hill of Magic, I was so impressed. The night I got set back with her, I was so impressed with how she'd improved. And then it was just so heartbreaking to find out that she'd fractured her coffin bone to start after that. but I think she's shown us that there's something there. There's a little something there. We know that coffin bone will heal completely, so I can't wait to see what kind of horse she's going to turn into as a 3-year-old. Kathy with an eye, again, had that terrible bout of pneumonia in May, just out of nowhere, and we gave her all the summer off. So will that heal her lungs up enough for her to train down, be an effective and strong, fast racehorse? I would hope so. But that, again, that's another question I really just can't answer. Luck's not with us anymore. Well, Luck is, but Luck of the Dragon isn't. Massive Profit. We're going to pop that chip out. Yes, it isn't out yet because we have to wait for a surgery date. I'm hoping it's before the end of September. I'm being told maybe the end of September. So hopefully Natalie, the surgeon, Dr. Cote, can pop that out some point in the first part of September. Matt's MVP looked great in the field again. Just a mental maturity thing with him. I hope that he's growing up and he learns from what he learns from the time off. His joints cool down, and he comes back a much better horse. There was no doubt speed was there, just needed to have more mental maturity, and I suspect he'll find some of that clarity in the field. Of Tom, I think she's just a giraffe, right? She's a big girl that has to put a lot of weight on. She looked good towards the end of the year, but she was starting to get a little tired. Not shocking with that big lanky frame, so we're going to turn her out for a couple of months on the field. She heads out to Schaefer Farms on Sunday morning. 1-2 Skip a Few is going to have more starts than any 2-year-old in our barn this year. She is a tough one. Wow, she is really turned into not a kill. You're not going to read any write-ups or stories about her. They're not going to name any stake races or have any trophies named after her. She's just a really tough-nosed filly that's going to put together a pretty good compilation of races. I think she is hopefully going to race in the Buckeye Final. She'll race in the Buckeye next week in Delaware. So fair, Buckeye fair, hopefully Buckeye Final, fair final. That's the plan for 1-2 Skip a Few. As I said, she's going to have more miles on her than anybody in the stable. Peanut Butter and Jelly will be out to December. Just looking for, again, some physical maturity from her. The breeding's there, the gate's there, the talent's there. Just need to be able to put it all together, and I hope the time off will allow her to do that. Prairie Fire, I already know, qualifier winner in 59. His leg is good now. We've had it under ultrasound. We can't find anything. Just some sort of bone bruise or something that was bothering him. But, there was a minor bruising and whatnot, but nothing serious. It's all healed up now regardless, and he's back jogging, but I think we'll probably just kick him out, maybe just for 4 weeks and aim for the winter time with our boy Prairie Fire. Procrastinator will stay out till December 1st. I think that goes without saying. I really just want to see the best form of Procrastinator as a sophomore as I can, and that will only come with simple mental and physical maturity. His ability to overcome is not in question or on trial, that's for sure, but just the ability to do his work in a competitive, strong manner is something we're looking for from him as a 3-year-old. Purple Aura, pretty much A+ across the board. This is a filly that some question marks lingered in the winter time. Is she going to be durable enough? Is she going to be strong enough? We ended up putting the hobbles on her. She got out of gear, made a couple of not breaks, but got out of gear a couple of times, and never did miss a check. I don't think. Second in that overnight, then second, fourth, and a pile of wins she's put together. She looks very, very strong now. Very impressed with what I've seen from Purple Aura heading into the latter part of this season. Renegade Gypsy, again, much like Purple Aura, hung out around the Buckeye level, grassroots level. Renegade Gypsy will be in the grassroots, I believe, again on Monday. Should finish off the rest of his year very strongly, I would imagine. Resolute Bay, same type of thing, grassroots, and actually, he's gone to the prospect level, which is great. He's racing tonight in the prospect series. I think the horse will be fine. I mean, he's turned into a pretty nice-looking horse. I think management-wise, Johnny did a good job. Jason McGinnis will take over, and I believe there will be no missteps in between. It'll be a fairly seamless transition. Rose Above It will come back in end of this month. Want to get him moving. We'll be racing him this winter. Rosie's Masterpiece will also come back in the end of this month, and she, too, will be racing this winter. All of these horses we have slated to race throughout the winter. If it looks like they're going to be stake horses, if we're fortunate enough to start them back up and say, geez, this is a really nice horse, we can always shut them back down and give them a couple weeks here and there just to keep them as fresh as we can heading into their sophomore staking series. Slim Jimmy will likely, from what I saw on his feet and what I saw on the track and what I see in the barn, I think Slim Jimmy does have the Ohio Breeders' Championship left. We'll know more next week, but I'm very happy with what I've seen. Very disappointed with the way the year ended up in the super final. The timing of that was just heartbreaking. But as you saw last night in the New York finals, as I'd said a couple of times, both Team Miller's stable, Andy and Julie Miller's horses, made breaks off the gate, and these things will happen. And it's unfortunate. It hurts. It really, really irks me. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you literally, really do have to turn the page. Stonebridge Dolce will qualify next week. Next Wednesday, Stonebridge Dolce will qualify at Northfield Park. I'm expecting a couple of qualifiers, a couple of races, and then shut her down. I believe there is something in there. I'm not sure what it is. She does have the ability to turn either way. She could turn into a nice horse or just turn into an evil animal heading into her sophomore season. We won't know until we're there. So one step at a time. Qualifier next Wednesday at Northfield Park, and then we will go from there. Stonebridge Acadi comes back in the end of the month. All systems go, all green lights for this guy. We'll get him back up and going, looking for some winter racing from him. Sweet on Pete, she also has 2 races left, not one. But people are just saying, oh, she could be tired. We'll just give her one race. She's not tired. She's not getting one race. She's going to the fairs next week, and then she's going to the Ohio Breeders' Championship. I understand you guys are looking at it and saying, well, it's the end of the year, she might be tired. She is not at all. It's for her nothing to do with her physical ability came into play last Sunday night. It was a simple misstep by a fairly sure-gated filly all year, and it was a horrifying scene for me and for you, but at the same time, just one of those things that happen. 3-Point Blue Chip, I am so excited to see this horse's fall. I'm trying to temper my expectations also. He went from, man, I don't know if he's a good horse or not, to, I hope he is, to, let's not expose this horse until we know he's ready, to, I think he's ready, let's see what we got, to, geez, he seems okay, to, man, where did this horse come from? He really seems good. I know it was hard to tell from the break in his last start, but I know I saw a little video clip of Amy and James training. Amy in the race bike, James in the race bike, training White Tiger and 3-Point Blue Chip together, and they both looked very, very good. He is going to be a little bit short, probably. He hasn't raced for 10 days and only had a training mile at Mohawk and 2-2, but at the same time, just really excited to see the fall racing for 3-Point Blue Chip. Taiwan on, a great year for her, right? Never missed a check, finished off the year with a third. Really did some good work this year and got turned out nice and fresh. And she'll come back that way. Tioga Sunshine punched a hole in the Prospect Series. We'll probably leave her at that level for the remainder of the fall into, hopefully, the Prospect Final. We'll see how that goes. Twinbee Habanero looks great right now. I probably will give him until at least November 1st or maybe October 1st, and then bring him in, but we'll see. I wanted to give him a good 6-8 or a good 8-10, maybe even 12 weeks in the field, so I'll look at the calendar and see how that is. But I'm expecting big things from this colt at 3. His sister beat everybody in a very, very major stake race here 2 weeks ago, and had some unfortunate luck with her after that. But at the same time, the speed is there, the talent is there, and this is I have to believe a So Surreal would cross better. Not different genders, but a So Surreal will cross better with her mother than Sunshine Beach. But who knows? Every horse is different. I'm expecting big things from Twinbee Habanero. Twinkle in Her Eye, 3 weeks in the stall now. We'll turn her out next week, probably for 6 weeks. The reason I wanted to give her 3 weeks, she was over on a shaft, a little rough gated when they were jogging and training her last week. If there was anything brewing, I wanted to give it 3 weeks just to settle down. Now she'll go to the field for 6 weeks. Unbeatable Kemp is racing on Monday. Pretty excited about this. I'm interested to see. We have a number of paths. One could lead to the field, the other one could lead to Freehold, and the other one to Kentucky. I don't think it'll be a combination of the latter two. I think it'll be one or the other, or the first one, which will be the field. We will see. I think Monday will be the telltale. We'll tell the tale of what happens with the rest of the season for Unbeatable Kemp. Maybe the field, May not be the field, but that will be completely up to him at Northfield Park. Voyage of Ice and Fire, Jason called me to tell me he trained good today. It was hard to get a beat on him with that mile and 2.8. I don't know what that was going on there. The watches, confound me sometimes at the Ferris, but the horse I was sitting behind, Voyage of Ice and Fire, the horse himself felt like he trained well, felt like he raced well in that fair race. He is in a fair next week, so we'll see what happens with him. I mean, there's always that voice, man, saying, turn him out. Another voice saying, race him. I am a little, beyond a little, I'm quite disappointed with him as far as the output of 2021 is concerned, but at the same time, it's racing. You're going to have to suck it up and then move on and see what lies down the road for us and Voyage of Ice and Fire. Will to Win Hanover looks good. Should be going to the field also this week, I believe, with Twinkle and Rye. We'll get them out. What we might do is actually switch, send Twinkle and Will to Win Hanover out to Sean Brisebois maybe, or Timmy's, I'm not sure yet, and bring in, we may do that. That might work perfectly, and bring in Arches Rainbow and Rosie's Masterpiece. That is an option also. And then World for Two. It had a good year, quietly put together a good year. Mark at 55 as a 2-year-old. I don't think he missed one check, and that was when he was up in the non-winners, the straight non-winners of 15,000 at Grand River. That was unfair to him. Otherwise, he had a great year. Took a good mark, paced 53, 54, something like that. I'm happy with him. So let's bring him in December 1st and see what kind of horse he can be as a 3-year-old. We will see. So those are the 2-year-olds. If I missed your horse, I know there's a horse missing from this list. I just can't put my finger on it, but I'm sure somebody will. If I did miss your horse, my apologies. I think by now you know roughly where everybody's at, what everybody's doing. Some horses out in the field. Some horses will be coming back the end of this month, or usually December 1st. Some horses finishing off their staking engagements, and other ones just starting their march back towards the races. So that is it. Those are all the 2-year-olds. That's what's going on with them in the stable. We have 8 new yearlings we're going to talk about here. I don't know the other one. 7 we're going to talk about. Another one was dropped off at Big Jim. I don't know much about this particular animal. A colt, I believe. I don't even know its name. But we'll talk about the rest of these horses in the coming weeks. But I will get to the 2-year-olds, or the yearlings, in just a minute. We do have a sale Monday, and we definitely have the big sale next week in Ohio. So lots of yearlings to talk about in the future. May as well kick it off right now with the 7 we have in our midst. I will talk to you in 2 minutes.